And the theme. And greetings from Storybrooke. This is the land. Oh wow, we didn't even put in an opening. I guess I'll just use one from last week. This is the land where we drift off together. We also talk about the ABC's once hit series one hit. Okay, take two, guys. This is live. This
Sure do.
Talk about this about ABC's hit series Once Upon a Time. Wow. Hey guys, how are you guys doing? Oh my god. Okay, hold on a second. Okay. Now I'm totally lost.
Uh-oh.
I'm okay, hold on a second. Greetings from Storybrooke. I'm Bobby Hawk. Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, okay. No, I'm Bobby Hawk.
I'm Tony Hooper.
I'm Monica Jones.
Did we do that already or not?
No, we didn't.
Okay, good. See, yeah, we are totally off the rails on this one. It's been 3 weeks, and if you guys couldn't tell, really sorry about that one, guys. All right, so after that fumbling of a opening, we're gonna go ahead and let Monica take it with this week's rhyming summary.
Tremaine has an interesting past. Gold's knowledge is unsurpassed. Her mom, the cold shoulder. Rapunzel only wants her love. Rogers finds the door to disarm. Weaver will need all his charm. Lucy's grandma makes it all clear. Happy in this week's One Little Tear.
One Little Tear. I've got to say, guys, I really liked this week's episode. I know I kind of start off with that's supposed to how we're supposed to end the episode, but whatever. As we were saying off mic, I enjoyed that. It gave us a chance this week with Henry and Regina out of town. I was surprised to not see them at all, but it gave us a chance to focus on some of the other denizens of Hyperion Heights, and it gave us a chance to see the backstory of Lady Tremaine, which I found very surprising, and they wasted no time in in like the cold open, more or less. So let's not waste any time, and let's just go ahead and get right to this week's summaries and notes, so we can start talking about all the questions that they answered in this week's episode. All right, so a family races through the forest in a wagon. The father has fallen ill, and the mother, Rapunzel, stops when she notices a garden. The girls are scared, but the mother tells them their lanterns will help them find each other. She goes to grab a few things to feed her family when Gothel appears and stops her. Rapunzel apologizes, but says she will do anything to help her family. Anything? With that, Gothel throws magic vines at her feet, and she is transported to an inescapable tower. Her sacrifice for saving her family. Oh, this is her sacrifice for saving her family. In the present, Drizella goes to pay Mommy a visit to admire her new orange jumpsuit. She wants to know what she's done with Anastasia, but she's not talking. Drizella tells her to have fun being locked up. Tremaine tells her when it comes to family, she will always find a way. At Jacinda's, Lucy gets ready for school. She's excited to be home and asks her mom about inviting Henry over. Jacinda plays it off and avoids telling her that Henry has left town. Back in lockup, Belfry is called upon Weaver with an offer. He says she doesn't have much to offer. He mentions Gothel, but he just plays dumb. Then she goes full Tremaine and tells him everything. The dagger, his wife, the guardian. She can help him with everything, and he tells her, "You've got a deal, Rapunzel." Okay. To be fair, I watched, there was like a preview on, that I think the Entertainment Weekly had put up that was specifically the last scene that I just described here between Weaver and Tremaine. And I think like the teaser they had put in the article was like, wait for the last word he says. And of course, you're thinking the last word he says is going to be like dearie or something, whatever. Of course, it's Rapunzel. I mean, it's
Gold.
Gold.
Yeah, Rumpelstiltskin. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Reverb.
There's so many different. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But anyway,
So many layers.
and then it turns out that like when in that preview when he said Rapunzel, I was like, wow, you just put that out as a preview. But then after seeing the episode, I can kind of see why, because like I said in leading up to this first act, they didn't waste any time in saying, it wasn't like it was some. And to be honest with you, I had no clue that would have been the furthest. I would not have thought that was Rapunzel. I had a feeling that we would see Rapunzel, but I didn't realize that we had seen Rapunzel since the beginning.
What an old-fashioned twist!
Yeah. I mean, I really did not see that coming at all. I don't know. I guess I'll open the floor up to you guys. Tony, do you have anything to add about what I said there? Like I said, my jaw was just on the floor, and I feel like it's still there. It's like I was just really surprised and didn't see that coming. But I found it justified too. I didn't think it was just some like. They did a good job of making it so.
Definitely. Also, I mean, I just agree with the point that you made. Like, so basically, here's the setting. Here I am on the way home from work. And I noticed on my YouTube timeline it says, "Oh, hey, sneak peek, new episode." So I pull over, literally. I come out of the parking lot, I pull over, and I look at it. And when he mentioned her name, I was like, "Huh?"
But again, like you go back and you're like, well, she's the one who had Gothel in the tower, and to reciprocate. So I mean, it all makes sense. I mean,
definitely, it's not like they just. They just put it there just to put it there. Like,
right.
Why wouldn't it be a good idea to have Rapunzel, in power of the person who enslaved her, but who trapped her in the tower?
Right,
so
right.
Why not?
And it's something that they've obviously, like we've always reprimanded that. I don't know if that's the right word I'm looking for, but in the past we've kind of like looked down on them for like. It feels like they kind of like went one way and then went the other way. Like the story wasn't justifying what they were doing with characters.
Right.
Whereas here, once it happens, it's like, oh, okay, you could see the pieces. So like, oh, wait a second. Okay, that and that and that,
it all makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, I mean, kudos.
Like that, there were so many. I've seen. So basically, you guys know I'm on the Twitter all the time, but I've seen some people's comments after they've watched the sneak peek. They're all like, "Oh, well, so now Tremaine is a Rapunzel. How many times y'all gonna mess up characters and da 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 da?" I'm like, I'm sorry, but at the end, this is a old fashioned, very good, very well thought out, once upon a time plot twist. I mean, I wouldn't call this a plot hole or anything. This is a part of their story that they wanted to tell.
Not only that, but this is also a different land. This is a land that's kind of a twisted, like land of broken promises, I think we've called it. This is not the Rapunzel that we're familiar with. So it would go to, it would go to reason that it wouldn't vibe with the story that you remember. So, again, I just, with
new attributes,
right, and with as much crap as we give the writers and creators of this show for doing some of the things they do, you got to give credit where credit is due, and I really feel like they did their job and made this story, anyway,
made it good,
yeah,
like made it.
Like I said, they deserved it. They earned the story. It wasn't just like something that was thrown together. It's like, oh, at the last minute,
right?
It was going this way and then went that way. It is so good. I really did enjoy that.
Very good. Like they're good. No, I didn't see this coming. An old-fashioned good plot twist. Oh, one last thing though. Can we also talk about the fact that Drizella had mentioned a Netflix show?
Yeah, I do love and specifically Netflix. Yeah, I do love when they throw out the pop culture references and whatnot.
It still kind of makes me laugh though on how they are so familiar with today's pop culture that a service like Netflix exists. Because this is not the first time that it was call it out. Emma from the actual outside world, of course, already had
right,
modern modern thoughts and
conveniences.
conveniences and things like that.
Uh-huh.
When if you remember, she had asked Killian saying, "Hey, you want to go home and relax and go watch some Netflix?" I was like, like he knows what Netflix is, but he's like, "Oh, sure, whatever."
Yeah, he doesn't even. Yeah,
He doesn't have Emma.
Right, as long as Emma was there,
right.
was
He didn't
there.
care, right? Yeah.
But that was just of what I thought about this first opening. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, yes, yeah. I was on board with this episode from the cold open, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything to add, Monica?
No, just everything else. Yes.
All right, we'll move on. Moving on, Rapunzel makes marks noting another day in the tower. Between the number of marks and the length of her hair, she's obviously been there a while. She looks out the window and sees lanterns floating in the sky. Thinking it must be a signal from her family, she cuts her hair and uses it to escape the tower. In Seattle, Rogers arrives at the precinct and is surprised to see Tremaine walking about. Weaver tells him she's free because Rogers didn't get a search warrant, but he knows Weaver has something to do with it, and he's going to find out how. With that, Tremaine and Rumple are off to wake Anastasia with a few stops along the way. Tremaine shows up at Jacinda's with a peace offering. She has the custody papers for Lucy. She tells Jacinda that this had all been a test. When she originally filed, she had hoped Jacinda would throw the papers in her face. She failed. Now that she has fought back, she has won. She tells Jacinda she's having Lucy's things sent over and gives her a doll that Lucy loves. In the past, Anastasia sends lanterns into the sky to find their mother, but Drusilla seems less than enthusiastic. Suddenly, guided by the lanterns, Rapunzel is reunited with her family. Anna embraces her mother, and their father comes and is surprised to see Rapunzel, but not quite as surprised as she is when Marcus introduces his stepdaughter and his wife.
I'm sorry.
Wow. Okay, so yeah.
that hurt.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
Like can we just say, like, without even jumping the gun, that hurt?
Yeah.
Hey, babe, how are you? I missed you. Oh, here's my wife.
Yeah, by the way.
Yeah.
And who might you be?
Who's this?
Yeah, that was okay.
Yeah.
Jerry.
Yeah, it was.
God.
It was a little awkward there, and then I mean, okay, I guess we'll talk about this more into the episode, I guess, because there's a few things that weren't quite clear. Anyway, well, let's just talk about this act that happened here. Kind of a short act it doesn't look like Tony. What do you have to say about this? I don't really have any notes.
I mean, well, I guess from the second half, I can now see where the hate for like from Drusilla started with. Oh,
well, yeah,
not even Ella, not yet. Well, I can see now that where the hate was implemented or started from with.
Well, yeah, I mean, okay.
Yeah.
Actually do quite a good time as far as breaking down some time in this episode and whatnot. Okay, so we see the girls at the beginning of the episode. They didn't really put an age on them, but specifically in the episode, Tremaine's, I forget who she's talking to. It might have been earlier in the episode when she's talking to Weaver, and she says she hasn't been my daughter since she was 4.
Yeah,
she literally says 4.
That's bold.
And so that puts sort of an age, that kind of is telling us, like, she hasn't felt Drusilla has been her daughter since she left. Ever since she came back, she hasn't felt, she's felt her daughter. And Marcus even says, she was young. She barely remembers you. That was 6 years ago. She's, and again, putting time on this. This was 6 years ago. So that tells us now that Drusilla is 10. And let's say Anastasia's 15. 14, 15.
Like 15, 16 or something.
Right. And I'm guessing Ella's about the same age as Anastasia at the time. Again, they don't really put an age on that, but I mean, just look, she's obviously older than Drusilla at the time, and being that it's his stepdaughter, it's not like it's a daughter that Marcus and Cecilia had.
Right.
That's what I was expecting Ella to come out and be like the daughter, but then I forgot that they did say stepfather. But then again, later, some more questions I'm gonna have.
I mean, like, also, I just have a quick question though.
No, go ahead.
I don't know if this is also jumping the gun, but did they also even mention what happened to Marcus? Like,
no, and that's something that I do want to address later. That is something I do want to address later. Like I was saying a little off mic, is there are a few plot holes in this episode that I feel like they didn't address, but I also feel like there's a few that they didn't address on purpose. And again, I will get to that once the act gets there. Monica, did you have anything to add?
Paul said it was a test.
Yes, she does. Does she say that now or later? I thought that was later.
I thought she said it like afterwards, like when she comes in.
She says that later. She says that later in the episode when she comes to try to get Anna to when she tries to have Gothel save Anna. That's when Gothel says, "You don't realize this was always a test."
There was a lot of testing in this episode.
No, and that was another thing that I want to touch upon when it comes to that. Another great, not only do you have the twist like we were talking about earlier, but you always have the parallels going on between the flashbacks and the current goings-ons. All right, moving on to Act 3. As Weaver and Tremaine run about town. Oh, go ahead.
I think Monica did have something to say though.
Oh, did you, Monica? I'm sorry.
Because that's just in my. I don't have the timeline, but that's in my notes before. Stella won't even hug her mother.
Yeah.
When
she first
But you saying that she was 4 and now she's 10.
Right.
That kind of makes a little more sense.
Well, she spent more time with
her mother.
She spent 6 years with this Cecilia person, and she doesn't even remember,
4 years. I mean, because
right. Oh yeah, even if it hadn't been right away or whatever. Yeah, so I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, so that makes it a little more sense now as far as why Drusilla is just so standoffish and so.
Yes.
I mean, I would say, when it comes to the timeline between there, she was saying that, okay, I haven't looked at her as a daughter since she was 4. So, you can tell her relationship with Drusilla all the way up to 4 was, what it should be. Then after that, after she disappeared, Drusilla really never got to know her mother for those 6 years. So with somebody coming in new, you would be like, okay, well, so is this my mom? Am I?
No, trust me, I've been down that road.
Mother, not as my actual mother, as my mother, point of view. It just seems like when your parent isn't in your life, you are basically on the direct thought that they don't care or they weren't, there for you, I guess, which is the reason why, she has a new hate for her mom. And
especially when you're so young, when someone dies like that, you don't like it. That doesn't register. All you feel is that they left.
Exactly.
Yes, I totally understand what you're saying. And whoever the actress is that played the young Drusilla did a really good job of the whole of like. It's not that she wasn't playing that she hated Rapunzel. She just didn't have feeling for her. Yeah, it just wasn't. It wasn't that she hated her. She just didn't love her.
Pretty much.
And that actress did a very good job of playing that, the love for her father and the love for her mother, Cecilia. Even though that actress did a very good job in defining that. Okay, so but if no one else has anything to add, I will move on. As Weaver and Tremaine run about town, Drusilla and Gothel follow, hoping they'll lead to Anastasia. Drusilla knows her mother will slip up, but Gothel thinks it's a mistake to underestimate her. Back in the realms, Rapunzel's girls have come for a visit. Drusilla isn't feeling it and is more than happy to see her father when it's time to go. Rapunzel tells Marcus her worries, but he reassures her that the girls need her. Before he goes, he gives her the tattered cloak she left behind all those years ago. He mended it, and he kept it all these years. She asks if he still loves her, and they almost embrace before he heads home to Cecilia and Ella. Gothel arrives to pour salt in the wounds, and she wants to see what other sacrifices Rapunzel is willing to make. She offers her a way to make Cecilia go away, but she refuses to hurt an innocent. At Jacinda's, she's having Nick look over the paper. Back at Jacinda's, she's having Nick look over the papers. Belfry left. He says they're legit. In the excitement, they kiss, and Jacinda immediately backs away. They both apologize, and when he leaves, she grabs the mixtape from the counter, obviously thinking of Henry. At the precinct, Rogers goes into the evidence room to see what Weaver is up to. Things only get even more mysterious when he finds a box with files on residents of Hyperion Heights. Okay. First off, I just want to say I like how the evidence room has become like Gold's pawn shop, but how it's just like littered with like mementos from like he picks up like Hook, Hook picks up his own hook, and like I'm sure if you look in the background in little bags of evidence and in cages, you'll see like little knickknacks and items. I mean, just what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But here's my question though: how did it come with him? Like, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna call Fred a little bit and ask, how did some of the stuff even make it over? Like.
Yeah, I know. I mean, those are the kind of things, especially when you're talking about Easter eggs. Just kind of, there's so many things on this show you kind of got to stop thinking about anyway. But yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from. Now this actually, I do want to bring up a few other points that we began to talk about in the last act. Okay, so in the beginning of this, I say the girls go over to Rapunzel's for a visit. How exactly is okay? So Marcus and Cecilia live in a manor. Is this a bit of upstairs, downstairs, where Rapunzel lives in like a building on their property and she's their maid? Is that what's going on here?
You know what? Yeah. I thought the same thing.
Because like it wasn't like the third viewing, I started looking at this for a second, and like it wasn't until then until I was like, oh, wait a second. Oh, wow. Oh, that puts little things a bit more into perspective. I could definitely see where she wouldn't be too happy with not only being the mother to her children, but playing maid to them. I could definitely see where that would cause a bit of an issue, even if Marcus and Cecilia are both being like, "Hey, we're cool with this. We're cool.
Yeah, it's all right.
Just go darn those socks. It'll be all right. You get to see the girls."
It's a little. As long as you work for us, But to me, it all seems like they were in a connected, property,
blended family.
Yeah, it seems as though like the manor part was set over somewhere over there, and the house that she was living in kind of like resembled a little.
Oh, it was. I wouldn't say it was like right next to the property. I mean, it was a bit, offset. It was you don't want the riffraff to live anywhere near your house.
Right, especially if especially if it happens to be your husband's ex-wife, or
right.
supposedly deceased wife.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of messed up. It's a little bit messed up. Like, oh, Jesus Christ.
But yeah. And then the whole again, I guess this kind of like in the wording, when Gothel offers Rapunzel the mushroom to do whatever it's going to do to Cecilia, she doesn't say that it's going to kill Cecilia. She just says that it'll make her go away. Mm. I don't know. I don't know. You know, you asked earlier about where is Marcus and Cecilia. That's a good question. I don't know. There's a bit more we'll get into more and later in the. Let's just talk about this act. Yeah, I think I really don't really have too much more to say about this act. Tony, do you have anything to add that I haven't?
Okay, so basically, I just wanna ask: are we still on the part where
yeah, it's a little bit all over the place right now, isn't it?
Yeah, I just gotta ask.
We're on topic C. We're on topic C.
Okay. Cool.
You know, Jacinda had Nick over, and then she grabs the mixtape and leaves. That's where we're at right now.
Okay, cool. So it just seems like I'm glad that that she is still saying like, "Whoa, hey, I'm gonna need you to back up." I'm kind of in a oncoming relationship right now so far, and I'm glad that she put that into perspective and just had to be like, okay, hey, there's a line right here. Thank you for helping me out with getting our child back with me, but
like, that's not what this is about.
That's not what this is about.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it wasn't just something that they had shared behind closed doors, and then it's gonna pop up later like it does. Spoiler.
Yeah.
But
a little too convenient, but
right, a little too convenient. But
But go ahead.
I really hope, and at the end, like of what once has made a little bit of a issue in the past, and I wouldn't call this an issue, but I'm gonna just call it just a little thing. I really hope that this doesn't become into a love triangle where it's like, okay, Nick all of a sudden has his feelings back for his quote unquote baby mama.
Well, he obviously does. I mean, right. He's obviously there.
He obviously does. He obviously does, but it may be cursed feelings, it may not be real.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing that we don't see. And we don't see that Nick ever had, or Nick, what is it? It's Jack in the other realm. It's Jack in the realms, right? He's like Jack the Giant Killer. So like, there's never that that never happens, or at least that we've seen anyway. I don't think it does, because I would imagine, because I mean, that would be stupid, honestly, if that happens in the realms where there's like a weird triangle between the three of them, because just what we've seen of them in the realms, number one, like their love is supposed to be like Snow's and Charming, so I really don't see anything coming in between that, obviously with the curse there might be things, but like in the realms where it's them, that there shouldn't be anything coming in between that.
Right. And what the thing is that, okay, so there are going to be some misunderstandings because, for Belfry's plan to work, she had to do some things and to really like hurt Lucy's belief and things like that. So
that was rough.
Showing her that if Lucy is to see Henry after he comes back, there's going to be some misunderstandings. And yes, there's drama.
We'll talk a bit more about that when we. I think that's in E. Wow, we're shooting right along this episode. To be honest with you,
we are.
I'm
just really hoping that there isn't no love triangle.
I really don't think it's going to go there. To be honest with you, I mean, I don't know. It might happen with the curse thing. It really might, but
I mean, for Gisela to stir up some trouble, I believe that she's going to take this, as if she hears it, like from the horse's mouth, mouth being Lucy, she's going to try and push up on Henry, to cause some drama, conflict between him and Jacinda, and then as it comes on, it seems like to me that no matter how much I say I hope there is no love triangle, there is going to be some drama.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, that's part of the drama of the show. So I'm sure at least for an episode or two, that'll be there, honestly. Yeah. I don't think it'll go any farther than like a kiss or whatnot. I don't think it'll be a David and Snow situation. We were on a break. We were in a curse,
Right. I mean, like, especially when
it's Frankenstein curse.
Like, I just thought it was bogus. She was like, "Oh yeah, we were cursed, okay? We were cursed."
Like, well, it was like the whole Ross and Monica, we were on a break thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Monica, did you have anything to add before I move on?
Oh, me?
Yeah. Do you have anything to add?
the right next to the keypad. Really? Come on.
What are you talking about?
When Hook or Rogers was
the fire alarm
breaking. Yeah, the fire alarm right next to the keypad. I'm like,
another too convenient thing. There, like I said,
and then there's no sprinklers or anything.
Thank you, Fred.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, there would definitely be sprinklers going off in the evidence room if there was. Yeah, that was definitely an oversight on Fred's part.
Yeah.
Like Fred, you know what? Fred is trying to get that raise, you guys. He's trying to get that raise. So he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna put this right next to here, and by this going off, the door opens up automatically.
Yeah, it was pretty.
It was easy for them. Yeah.
That was pretty.
Man,
yeah.
Fred.
Yeah, it was.
Fred is doing his job in this
again
episode today.
for the most, like they got so many things right in this episode that there was the little things like that I kind of like wasn't even.
It couldn't be 100% good.
No, it's you got to have the once oversights.
Fred had to get paid,
All right. So Rogers goes detectiving. Sabine tells him that Weaver's already been there, and she tells him about a knife Weaver was very concerned about. She draws a picture that looks an awful lot like a familiar dagger. Across town, Tremaine and Weaver continue their quest to wake Anastasia. He says they're being followed. She says that she has a plan for them. Weaver breaks into a crypt, and they find a bag. Yeah, Weaver, I was expecting a body too. Weaver asked Tremaine why she would try so hard to reunite with one daughter and continuously push the other away. Tremaine says that the other girl hasn't been her daughter for a very, very long time. In the realms, it's Drizella's birthday and Rapunzel is serving. Cecilia asks why she is serving. She should be enjoying her daughter's party. Marcus assures her that the girls still need her mother, but she finds it hard to believe when Drizella obviously cares for Cecilia. Rapunzel steps inside and finds the Wonderland mushroom Gothel left. Without hesitation, she picks it up and squeezes it into Cecilia's drink. In Hyperion Heights, Drizella and Gothel follow into the crypt, but Tremaine is long gone. Gothel warns Rumple that Tremaine may be after Lucy. At school, Belfry shows up to tell Lucy that she was right all along. Fairy tales are real. She shows Lucy the book, and they leave hand in hand. Okay.
So
I guess. Yeah, I know.
Sorry, I had to put that in there.
You're fine. Look, I haven't been on that podcast in a while. In fact, I don't do that podcast anymore. But yeah, I still watch the show, and so that's on my mind. I'm surprised it didn't happen earlier. All right, so
that's all good.
So why would Sabine have a connection to the dagger? Like she was mentioning how Weaver was like putting it in her hand and asking her if she felt something. Why? I don't.
That would be him looking for.
I think he's looking for.
You sound sorry.
For the
Guardian. The Guardian.
What you call it? Yes. Thank you.
And so,
yes,
so you're thinking that just being okay. I could see that. So he's just going to.
He was testing to see if she might be the Guardian.
I understand. Okay, that makes sense. I hadn't even thought of that, but now that you say that, that actually does make sense. All right, that was really my only flaw I had with that act, to be honest with you. Okay. I know that they went a long way here trying to make Tremaine relatable, I guess, and make you try to like understand why she did what she did. But I really don't. I still can't. And not only that, but it's not even like I could almost maybe forgive her that one trespass. But now that she's become what she's, what she is, and what she's doing to Lucy later in this episode, I just can't. Yeah, I can't.
It was not cool.
I can't look the other way with what she's done with Drusilla. I mean, for for a moment, I might understand how she feels about, how she feels kind of pushed away by Drusilla, but that doesn't mean you do the same. I don't know.
For so long and so repeatedly.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I could understand maybe for the first few years of that happening or whatever, but for 20 years, I mean, this has gone on for at least 20 years. I mean, this is crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy.
For her to deny her child so many times, and like as my mom and I we were watching the episode, and it's like, wow, like so you can treat your youngest daughter like complete crap, all in all, just to get your
and it's not
daughter back to life,
right? And it's not Drusilla's fault. She's always been searching for a mother figure ever since her mother left her. And of course she imprinted on Cecilia, and then when Cecilia left, she imprinted on her mother, but by that point her mother pushed her away. And it seems like ever since then that she's been fighting for her mother's love, but instead the only person that her mother loves is Anastasia. And then what's really ironic about all that is Drusilla is the one that's really the most like her mother.
Yeah. I mean, she gotta have some type of relationship with her mom in the first place. Why not pick up on her, on her being an evil, spiteful person?
Monica, you look like you had something to say about what I said there.
So you were saying that she imprinted on Cecilia and then mom, but she did. Because I mean, okay, so maybe like at first,
right?
She knew, and then mom was gone, and then Cecilia came along, and her mom came back. In that scene in the courtyard, neither Drusilla nor mom made any move to go hug each other.
You're talking about when the reuniting scene when they first came back together,
right?
Okay.
Anastasia and mom were just right
instantly,
away,
right?
Oh my gosh, yada yada yada,
right.
love, and Marcus walks in and she goes, oh, I love, and runs to him. And never looks at Drusilla. But Drusilla also never makes a move towards her mom.
But I don't blame Rapunzel in that instance, because I feel like she's reading her daughter. I feel like she's waiting for her daughter to come to her, and then reading her daughter and seeing that look on her face and realizing that, oh no, my daughter doesn't even know me.
Yeah, because she was, younger at the time.
Right.
What I'm thinking is that by the time Marcus got remarried to somebody else,
Cecilia, right?
To a Cecilia, she had already the idea that, okay, well, my mother's not coming back, so I'm going to focus on Cecilia as my mother figure, and nobody's going to be mom but her. But now but seeing her mother come back into the picture was like, I thought you were gone, Cecilia,
well, there's a flood of emotions. It's I thought you were gone. It's I don't even know you because I was 4 the last time I saw you, and I don't remember that. It's a number of things.
Right.
So I don't blame Drusilla for not running to her mother in that case, but I also don't blame Rapunzel in not running to her daughter, because, like I said, she. Anna runs to her right away. Marcus runs to her right away. They run to each other. And Drusilla is distant because she's not... Okay, speaking a little bit from experience, my dad moved away when he was young, and so I never got to know his side of the family. Years later, his mother, found him, came back into the picture, and like when we first met, she came to me as if, oh, this is my grandson I've never seen, and whatever, and like came to me full of love. And I didn't know this person from Eve. I didn't know who the, and so like it was hard for me to feel that and it always has been and still is very awkward years later, because I don't see her that often, don't talk to her that often, but yeah, anyway, I mean, I don't
relate in a way.
Yeah, I don't blame either party for what happened, but at the same time, it's like if it had just been that one trespass that Rapunzel had made, I could almost forgive it, but it didn't stop there.
I mean, from both sides of the spectrum, it's like, okay, well, Drizella was too young to remember. Okay, that's fine. Rapunzel coming back into the picture, the first person she hit was, well, not hit, but the first person who had saw her was Anastasia. And then for Drizella to be in that situation, it's like, who is this? Like, I can't connect because I don't remember her. She could be frightened, because of she not knowing her own mother. She can be like, okay, well, I don't know this person. I don't feel a connection to her like my sister does, because
from the beginning
older.
From the beginning of that scene, when Anastasia is the one letting out the lanterns, not she's like, she's just nonplussed by the whole thing. She's like, this isn't happening. It's cold. Can we go inside? It's not.
Exactly. Like, it was like, wow.
Right. But like I said, it's no one's fault. It's just a matter of circumstance,
Exactly.
Do you have anything to add? Either one of you before I move on?
Okay, so my thing is that at the birthday party, it's
okay,
really it really hit me. Like, when Cecilia had presented Drizella with a present, she's like, "Oh, thank you, Mom." I'm like,
right, no, exactly. And then Drusilla and Rapunzel sees that happen, and then that's the turning point. So she's sitting there already kind of steaming to Marcus already, and then she sees that, and it's like, oh, okay, that's how it's going down.
That's how it's going down. That's how the hate. Like, I think who struck the hate first had to be Drizella at the point. Like, she was like, okay, well, I don't recognize you as my mother. Oh, thank you. My mom got me a present, so
but again,
on her,
I really don't think that was anything that was malicious. I don't think anyone was out to hurt anyone. Again, it was just a matter of circumstance. That's the person that she had been raised by, and not only she had been raised by that, it's not like she even had weekend visits with her mom. And they grew up thinking their mom was dead. And then this girl was 4 when that happened. So at that point, she, yeah. So I mean,
so is it cool to call it other realm have child custody, like weekends and things like that? And
right. Well, that's what I was picturing when like Marcus came up. Okay, time to come get the girls for, you've had them for the past few days, you've had them for the weekend, so it's time for them to come back to the manor,
Right, thanks.
That's what I was picturing, that's
I mean, terrible. Oh my god. But let me see. And then also for the fact that, okay, wait a minute, when she had recognized and said, well, hey, why are you serving? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Did we all kind of come to the fact that she has been now serving the family now as a
right? That's what I meant when I said that earlier. Is that like it seems like that's what happened. This is like an upstairs downstairs situation where there's a house on the property, that their mother lives on and is the servant to the family. And I mean,
why are you serving today? Like, what?
Yeah, like I said, that took me a minute. Like when I first watched it, I was just like, okay, maybe she's like working for a catering company.
Something, other realm catering service. One more thing though, I know that we've been stuck with this one for a while, but one more thing though, did that mushroom look very familiar to you guys?
Like a Smurf or what?
No, like just
Yeah.
just the mushroom from
Well, I
the
mean, it looked like your
previous
standard
season.
toad from what, the beginning? Oh yeah, it was the same one that
From,
Drusilla used.
oh no, not even that. It reminded me of the mushroom that they used to
Yeah.
speak to Merlin. Like I don't know if that was the same, toad.
I don't remember that at all.
Okay,
Was
well,
that
okay,
from a previous season?
yeah, that was a previous season for when they went to the Camelot, when they had the Camelot 6-week arc. That
Okay.
they I was just wondering because the toadstool looked like the exact same thing, and they just never touched upon that part of a toadstool's magic.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if it was just a prop they had on hand, so they used it.
And say, look, here, we're just going to use this. Like,
Yeah,
Saving himself a minute.
Exactly. I very seriously doubt Fred. They sent Fred into the prop room, and it wasn't labeled that this was an important prop from season 5. Don't use it. And so he was just like, "Oh, well, it's a mushroom." So they said they needed a mushroom. Here you go.
Here you go. It just looked very familiar to me. It looked like the exact same toadstool that they had used for season 5 to get in contact with Merlin. But that's just my 2 cents on that part.
You're good. You're good. Some of those little things kind of slip my mind. I don't remember some of those little things like that after so many years. And then sometimes I remember the littlest things. It just depends. Depends. All right. So moving on. Tremaine and Lucy sit on a park bench and go through the storybook. I said Storybrooke, didn't I?
Do we miss Storybrooke, Bobby?
Yeah. Lucy reads that as Rapunzel, she poisoned Ella's mother, Cecilia. She says the poison was never meant to kill her, only make her flee. But Marcus followed her to Wonderland. They were later reunited, even taking in Cinderella. One winter, as they played on the ice, Ella chased after a top hat. When she walked away, Anna saw the ice start to crack. When she tried to warn her, they both fell in. Marcus jumped in after, but it could only find one of the girls. Rapunzel screams when she realizes that Anna is nowhere to be found. In Seattle, Tremaine brings Lucy to see Anastasia. She needs Lucy to see that while fairy tales are real, happy endings are not. Lucy tells her that their stories are different. Her family will be happy. That's when Tremaine shows Lucy the video feed from the doll she left at Jacinda's. Lucy sees her mom and Nick kissing. Tremaine tells her that Henry has left town and she will never get her family back. Lucy finally starts to doubt, and a single tear falls on the book as she runs out of the hospital. Okay, so it's that and what she's been doing to Drusilla, to her own daughter that I don't care. Like I said, I could have forgiven maybe 1 or 2 trespasses earlier, but this is not cool. That being said, on top of that, come on. I really think there's a part of this story that Tremaine is just leaving out. I mean, okay, so Cecilia just flee to Wonderland, and then Marcus followed after her. But then, what's that Seinfeld thing? Yada yada yada.
Yeah, like
remember back a couple of episodes ago, her heart had been darkened, to where to touch the one you love is.
What did Drusilla do with that? What did Drusilla do with the mushroom earlier in the season? Didn't she do something?
No. This was back with Henry and Ella when they were when Ella wanted to chase after her mother into Wonderland.
I remember that. Yes.
Found out that her mother had run off to Wonderland because her
heart had been poisoned.
And if she touched the one she loved, she would hurt him.
Okay, and that's what
just
trying
like
to use that mushroom to poison
Alice and Rogers.
That's what I remember. That's what I'm remembering, because Drusilla earlier had tried to use that same mushroom to poison Henry's heart. and keep him and Jacinda
Yes.
apart. And so that they didn't
Yes.
say that in this episode, but they had said it earlier. So now, okay, now I'm putting it together. So that's why Cecilia left, is because when she drank,
her heart had been poisoned.
when she drank the stuff, she had to flee because she can no longer be near Nick or near Marcus.
Right. Yes.
Exactly. I mean,
okay.
So which leads to the fact that she may be still alive, and we'll have to get an episode.
No, because
the
Alice
Jabberwocky
tells
killed
her
her.
yes, yeah.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
We found that out later, but we still don't know where the Star Wars backpack came from then.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had thought that the Star Wars backpack came from Cecilia.
Right.
Like I had thought maybe it was like something where like another woman came through came through the realm, whatever, and then you know what I'm saying. Like a He-Man situation. I don't know if
it could still be someone else, but not someone we've met before.
That's true.
Right.
It could just be a random thing that was there that we just said, yeah. But I'm just saying it was so prominent in the scene. I really thought that it had something to do with Jacinda's mom, but obviously it didn't at this point. But actually, this little talk we just had actually filled in quite a few gaps for me, to be honest with you. But wow, okay, so she didn't try to kill her then. I mean,
right?
No.
But did she know that? And to begin with, that's that wouldn't kill her, because Gothel never really told her, what it would do. It just said it would make her go away.
Right, it'll make her flee.
Did she even care?
When she said that to me, I was like, oh yeah, that's gonna kill her.
Right. But then, like we just discussed, it didn't. Obviously, it made her go away because her heart got poisoned,
right?
Which is still not a nice thing to do, but she was just trying to get the woman to go away, because she wanted the man in her, yeah. So I could, so. Like I said, I could have forgiven up to that point if she hadn't almost blamed Drusilla for what happened to Anastasia and Ella. But I mean, and she like blamed Ella for what happened to Anastasia, and then she blamed Drusilla for like not being Anastasia. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how to, really just rough.
Yeah, it was just all just bad, period.
But yeah, so like I said, I'm really glad we had that little talk, because that filled in a lot for me. But then that still doesn't explain what happened to Marcus, though.
Right, that's the part. Like, okay, so,
yeah,
right, because he followed.
I'm guessing he just died of natural causes.
Did he die? Did they say that? I know. But has Jacinda mentioned anything about her father? Or what?
All she ever stated was about how her mother.
I guess it would be her stepfather.
Left.
Because
her stepfather.
Marcus was her stepfather, right? But I do remember her saying that Marcus was her stepfather, but for all intents and purposes was her father.
The only father she had known.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right,
because then
she
we'll
did
never
say
know
he was dead.
Did she?
Right, but I'm just wondering how he died. I guess.
Ella said she was dead.
But did she blame Tremaine for killing him? I kind of feel like I remember something like that being said. Again, this is something I'd have to go back up the episodes. Yeah. If anyone remembers, put that up on Facebook and let us know if you're listening.
I think probably what happened was that I remember her perfectly saying that when my father came back, he was never the same.
I do remember that. Yes.
I don't.
And then maybe he just like died of a broken heart or something.
Or that, yeah, he probably
could be.
I don't know. But then, or maybe it was after Anastasia, and then losing, because like it seemed, because before Anastasia fell in the river, it seemed like he was happy. It seemed like he was about to here, Rapunzel, let me prove to you what you mean to me, all that, So maybe it was like finally losing Anastasia as well that You know, losing Anastasia, and then I'm sure that drove a wedge between him and Tremaine and and Rapunzel.
Rapunzel.
Yeah, whatever.
I think we just want to call it Rapunzel.
But you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Got another name I could call her, but
this is what I like about episodes like this: is there's so much to talk about, and there's like I really like this episode, guys. Really did.
I did too.
And the more I'm talking about it, to be honest with you, the more I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else you guys want to add before I move on to the last act?
Before even remembering that Cinderella's mom was killed by the Jabberwocky, I thought that they basically just said, okay, well, she fled. The end. Like what I still want to know is, even if it's just like a little bit of a scene, what I still want to know is that, okay, how did this all play out? How I want to see, like, basically what happened to Marcus. Period. I want this to be a, Jacinda going, like thinking back, like, what happened to her father. Then we have a flashback episode. Then we'll see how he lost his way. He lost himself. He wasn't the same. I guess I'm just wondering. Where I can see it instead of just having to be like, okay, well, so we're
Tony?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Everything froze up for me for a second. I don't know why.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering, like, hello?
No, you're good. I just wanted to make sure like something didn't happen on my end or anything.
I was wondering the same thing.
I'm like, was I frozen?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. You know what? I know I have not been able to, because there have been so many.
No, it happens. I just wanted to make sure everything's cool.
Yeah. Like,
all right.
Like, it's been going on for like some of the podcasts that you guys are going like, beep boop, beep boop. Oh my God.
The wonders of Hangouts and Skype.
Yes. Oh my God.
All right. Let's move on to the last act. So Rapunzel brings Anna to Gothel to try and save her. Gothel locks in her last breath and says she'll be bringing Anna to the tower. She tells Rapunzel that this had all been a test looking for the Guardian. When she sacrificed herself, she thought Rapunzel might be the Guardian, but now she hopes that Anna may turn out to fill the role. When she goes to teleport Anna, she finds that Rapunzel has stolen her magic and sends Gothel to the tower instead. In Seattle, Weaver searches for Lucy, and Rogers finds him and tells him he's tired of being left in the dark. Weaver finally opens up and tells him about Belle. Rogers asks him to let him help, and Weaver says tonight they have to find Lucy. At the hospital, Tremaine sits at Anna's bedside, collecting the tear Lucy left in the book. Across town, Lucy, obviously defeated, walks home. Jacinda asks what's wrong, and Tremaine, across town, drops the tear onto Anna's forehead, and she instantly awakens as Lucy collapses into Jacinda's arms.
Yep, I can't forget her. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
And then I actually forgot the last part is that Drusilla walks in to find Anastasia and awake, and Tremaine at her bedside, and then she walks away in tears. God, I feel for Drusilla. I don't feel like she's done anything. Well, no, she has killed people, I guess. So, yeah.
In this moment, she hasn't deserved.
No. But I guess I was trying to say. I'm sorry. What was that last part you said?
She's deserved plenty of other things, but in that moment,
I don't quite understand the whole magic and okay. So I guess, are we saying that Anastasia's the Guardian at this point? Or that's what
I really do believe so.
Yeah, that's what it seems like, right? Yeah.
Could be.
It's got to be somebody who is who has not been introduced,
Mhm.
somebody that comes out of nowhere, and I really do believe that Anastasia is probably going to be.
And I think that it's okay. So the Guardian's got to be someone who's pure of heart. So it's got to be someone who realizes that once, I feel like she's going to sacrifice herself for Lucy. Because
she'll have to be her what great.
One of two things will happen to wake up Lucy. One of two things: either Anastasia sacrifices herself to wake up Lucy, or the true love's kiss of Henry and Jacinda, end up waking up Lucy. One of those two things will obviously happen.
I was about to say, how about let's make it extra special and have what would Anastasia be to Lucy, her aunt or
not even step aunt? Yeah, step aunt. Yes.
Yeah. Like let's just say like maybe her step aunt is going to be, the wake up. Because I think that would be pretty special,
What, by kissing her on the forehead, she passes out and Lucy wakes up?
Mm-hmm. Or maybe the curse is broken.
Well, that's what I meant. Is that one of those two things would happen? Is that somehow Lucy or Anastasia would sacrifice herself for Lucy, or her parents will end up, true love's kiss.
Like that. That I think would be extra special for to happen instead of the usual true between the epic love story.
Mm-hmm. And then, like we were talking about earlier, that there was this whole parallels with the test. Victoria was testing or claims she was testing Jacinda, and then you have Gothel testing Rapunzel. As to whether she's the Guardian or not.
There was a lot of testing.
Yeah, and just a lot of the parallel. I felt like this was a really good episode of Once Upon a Time, with the once twist, the parallels, just everything about it. Yeah, I really don't have anything else to add at this point. Tony, how about you? Do you have anything to add?
Nope. I'm just ready for one of my favorite No More villain to come back next week. Can't wait. I love this episode, but I just can't wait till next week.
I do have one thing to ask. Tony, did either of you happen to look at the ratings for this week?
No, I did not. Let me do some quick
research. While you're looking at that, Tony, Monica, was there anything you wanted to add about this week's episode?
So as far as the Guardian goes, I've been thinking it would be, and now I'm spacing on her name, Alice.
Yeah, we had all thought it would be either Alice / Tilly,
And that hasn't been disproven yet.
No, it hasn't. No.
But
I just feel like they kind of telegraphed tonight that Anastasia was the Guardian.
And that could be as well. So it's.
Oh, I'm not saying that it's 100%. Yeah, there are definitely other options. I'm not saying at all. And we had mentioned before that it seemed, because I believe there was the moment that Rapunzel was like, or Rumpelstiltskin was like, "Oh, I've got to go find the Guardian," and then he steps through the portal and finds Alice. And so that's why we were like, "Oh, okay, so that's the Guardian then." So I think at this point the two strongest candidates are Tilly and Tilly / Alice, and gosh darn it, Anastasia.
Yeah.
Okay. Tony, were you able to find anything out yet?
Still looking.
Okay. No, you're good. While you are looking, I do actually have a few other things to say. That leaves us with like the questions. We always at the end of the episode kind of be like, "Oh, what are the questions we're left with for this season?" Okay, so we still don't know where the new curse came from. There's still that weird like throwaway, like, remember when there was like, I think in the second or third episode where it seemed like Tremaine shared some sort of past with Hook, or Swish Up, whatever. And so that never really.
Whatever.
Yeah. I think that's just going to be a throwaway thing, to be honest with you. We do know who Second Hook's daughter is at this point. We kind of figured out what Alice's deal is. I think we'll never really know what Rumple's deal is, and that's his deal. That's what his deal is that you don't know what his deal is. We do know who's in Belfry's Tower. That would be Gothel, or was at the very least. We do know what her deal is, at least for the most part. She's been searching for the Guardian. Who was the bloke and who does he work for? Is that the redheaded guy?
I believe so.
Yeah, he was one of the pictures in the files that Hook pulled out.
Sure was.
And we never really did find out who he works for, did we? I would imagine probably Belfry, but
yeah, but it just never really said. We can just only
it never really said exactly. Okay, what's so special about the special brew? What special brew are we talking about here?
I think
it's from a different episode.
That was one of the
It was the tea.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember for the Gothel. Yes.
I think now we actually have what that may be. You know, the her special brew, which was, you know, the toadstool, Cecilia's drink. You know, that will be, I think, hers. Her special brew.
And let me see, what were the other questions here?
Okay.
Go ahead, Monica.
I've got ratings.
Oh, cool.
You found the ratings? Okay. Thank you.
Please go ahead.
I'm not sure how to read this nonsense.
Here.
What was the share?
Yeah, the share.
Since I haven't read them before,
I was going to say here, type it in our little chat.
Yeah, let's see if we can give you a
0.5/2.
Okay, so that's uneven. It's 0.5/ just straight 2, or is it like 2.43 or?
Well, it's 0.5/2 and then 9.
And then what?
I don't even know what this mess means.
I was about to say here. Send the link.
9 million / 0.5.
Okay. You said 2.4 million / 0.5.
49 mil, so I'm assuming that's million.
Right.
/ added some eyeballs, but was flat in the demo versus the series lows posted by the.
Yeah, it seems like for the past few. It seems like the past few episodes have been hovering at a 0.5, around 2. I mean, give or take, it hasn't slipped below 2 million. It's gone to it, but it also hasn't risen above 3. I think their highest of the season has been a 0.7. But the past few weeks have just pretty much stayed hovering at a 0.5, but which is around 2 million viewers, give or take a few 100,000. So yeah, that's where we're at. I mean, it's not bad news, but it's not good news. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, it's not like we've dipped down to a 0.1 or anything like that. It's not like we're getting like 300,000 viewers, you know.
Or 0.9.
But unfortunately, more than likely, I did not see the rest of the numbers on Friday. That probably puts us in at least 4th or 5th place, if not lower, unfortunately. I would imagine more than likely the only shows that got lower would be something on the CW. Nothing against the CW. That's just usually how the numbers play out. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, again, you know, not necessarily good news, not necessarily bad news. Just it is what it is. You know, I don't know. It's hard to say whether it's going to stick around after this season or not. I mean, we've only got one more episode before the fall finale, I believe, and I could be wrong on that, but if I'm not mistaken. And then when they come back, we'll see where their numbers go from there.
I really hope
But yeah.
it does. It does get bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the story's
I
starting to
like I
sell.
said, the past few episodes, it's finally starting to pick up. I'm really liking what they're doing with these new characters. There are a few other questions that we did. We asked about who the Guardian is. We're not sure. I don't really think Nick has an agenda. I know whoever put this question in there, it says everyone has an agenda on this show. I don't necessarily know that Nick has an agenda, to be honest with you, other than trying to get back into Lucy's life, and it seems like maybe even still having feelings for his ex. And then that whole, that the whole, are those feelings true or not because of a curse, is so hard to work around,
Right.
and work out in your mind. You know what I'm saying? And then we kind of worked out.
don't know it's a curse.
The last question I put in here, we actually kind of worked out the first part of it. What happened to Cecilia and Marcus? So we do know what happened to Cecilia, but we kind of feel like maybe what happened to Marcus is still up in the air. But yeah, that, I feel like they've answered quite a few of the questions that we've had. I mean, coming into the fall finale, they kind of have to. I mean, being that this isn't the end of the season, there's still some questions that are up in the air. Okay. So do we just go with the obvious arbitrary scale here, Tony?
Yep. I mean, like, our scales have always been something like either kind of big, within the episode, and
Right.
like, hey, the most bogus rating out there right now is Lucy's tears.
Yeah, let's just go with it. I mean, it's the softball is sitting out there. Let's bat it away. So, you know what? I'm always coming up with the numbers. Tony, why don't you come up with a number?
Okay, out of
yeah, it's not as easy as it looks, is it?
No, it's not. Okay, wait, I got it. Out of 300,000.
Jesus. Okay. Sad little girl.
Something wacky.
Let's go a little lower.
How about 300? Out of
300 tears.
All right. It's a little more manageable. It's a little more manageable. All right. I'll go first. All right. 300 tears. All right. I've been playing up this episode since we started. I'm not going to go perfect, but I'm going to say 287 tears. Like I said, there were very few plot holes, and even some of the plot holes I did see, we were able to work out between us in discussion. So I really feel like, I did a mistake in not seeing exactly who wrote this episode, because usually when I find an episode that I really like, I try to go back and see who wrote it. And, 9 times out of 10 it's Jane Espenson, but I'm not going to say that's who wrote this one because I'm not positive. But whoever wrote it, bravo, kudos. So great character work, great story work. I mean, it's obvious that they've been plotting this part of the story out for a while, and I just couldn't find too many faults. How about you, Monica?
I just found the writer.
Oh, I'm sorry. Real quick, go ahead, Tony.
Christopher Hallier and Adam J. Carp.
Oh wow, names I don't even recognize.
Yeah, that's new.
Yes, that's good, and I'm sure they're not total rookies. I'm sure they have work out there, and I could be stupid, and they have plenty of work. Right, and so I'm always happy to hear fine writing being done by people I'm not familiar with.
Definitely.
Yeah.
They've actually throughout the whole a few episodes they've been
of this season
of this season. They've written a few.
Huh. I'll have to go back and check out.
Cool.
I'll have to go back out and check that out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Monica, what did you give this episode out of the 300 tiers that Tony allotted?
285.
All right, so you're right on par with me.
It's a solid episode. I really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I totally agree. And Tony, that just leaves you. What did you want to give it?
I wanted to give it 290 of Lucy's Tears.
Okay, again, we're all right on par. I mean, this was a really good episode, guys. Really good episode. The promo for the next week's episode looks great. I'm really happy to see Rebecca Mader back. I'm really anxious to see maybe finally who cast this curse and how and why and all those kinds of things. We're still not 100% if next week is the fall finale, are we?
I think it is.
Or winter finale, or whatever. I think it is, though. 10 episodes, it is. It is. Do we know when we're coming back after that?
It's usually in the spring.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Like March, I want to say. Let's see.
We'll see.
I can look that up right quick.
Yeah, go ahead. But I don't know. Not really any news for this episode. Not a lot of speculation about anything. I mean, with the half season kind of coming to a close, there's not really a whole lot to say or do. You know what? Something we didn't mention is Elizabeth hasn't been with us over the past few weeks, and so we just want to give a shout out to Elizabeth. She is probably not at this point. She might be home at this point, but she's been visiting Mickey over the past few days. Mickey and Minnie, all their friends over, once upon a time's friends over at Disneyland. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Elizabeth. Say we miss you, and she did say that she's been having a lot of ideas about the past few episodes, or a lot of things that she wanted to bring up. So maybe we'll give her about 10 minutes to just kind of vent about what she's noticed over the past few episodes.
She did.
But I'm really anxious to have her back as well.
Next week.
Yeah, that's next week. I'm really anxious to have her back as well.
I did find some episodes here. So okay. One little tear, and then there is actually they have the dates for the others as TBA, right?
Okay,
right
so
now,
we're not even sure when they're coming back yet.
So right now it's just like at the 8th week, December 15th.
Yeah, expect another hiatus here shortly. All right, well,
here we go.
I guess that brings us to the close of this week's episode. Sorry about the long-winded beginning. It took a minute to get the wheels back on, but I think we got all right once we got going. I think
our carriage broke.
Yeah, well, we were all right once we got rolling. We're good though. We're good. But we want to hear from you guys. It's been a hiatus, so of course, we haven't heard from you guys, but we haven't heard from you guys in a while. We see you guys, on Facebook. We know you guys are listening. We know you guys, enjoy the podcast. And if you do, we want to hear from you. We want to know what you've enjoyed about the podcast. If you what you think about the new host. Is there anything maybe we can improve? Not to say that we need improvement. I think we're all pretty great. But that being said, like I said, you can always hit us up on Facebook at facebook.com/greetings from Storybrooke. You can send us voicemail at 424-274-2352. That's 424-274-2352. And then you can always just hit us up at the regular old email, greetingsfromstorybrooke@gmail.com, or on Twitter at gfstorybrooke. And in the meantime, where can we find you guys at, Monica?
I'm on Twitter occasionally at Monica Sedai. That's Sedai.
Sedai.
And Tony, where can we find you at?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Hoops900. That's HOOPS 900.
And then, of course, you can find me, Bobby Hawk, at Bobby Hawk. What is it? Facebook.com/Bobby Hawk, I guess. On Twitter is Inevitable Hawk, HAWKE. And I kind of run the GF Storybrooke Twitter. So if you send something that way, I'll probably be the one that's replying to you. But other than that, you can find us all every week, and when there's not a hiatus, every week here talking about one of our favorite shows, Once Upon a Time. So I think that does it for all of us this week. So until next week, guys. Greetings from Storybrooke.
Storybrooke.
We'll never get it right.
No, and then the music didn't play. Jesus. All right. So, okay, hold on. You get a second.
Dang it, Fred.
Yeah, take two. Okay. Again, let's try this one more time. Until next week, guys. Ready?
Ready.
Greetings
from Storybrooke. We'll never get it right.
Whoop, whoop.
And we're out.